received an emergency phone call to get over here for this meeting with the detectives and Rudy's mother and Rudy. And so I dropped everything I was doing and made it as fast as I possibly could. And I spent about an hour and 20 minutes one-on-one with Rudy and with one of the detectives. I heard horrific things from that young man. And I did not want him to see me start shedding tears, but I couldn't hold back the tears because of the things he was saying to us, the detective and myself. No child should ever be treated like that by your own mother. This young man said that when he initially ran away, he came back 2 days later, and she told him that he had to hide, that he was going to get in trouble, and they were going to arrest him for running away, and that he had to continue hiding. And so she hid him out for a while, then brought him back to the house and hid him in the home. And initially, whenever the investigators would come, she would hide him in the house. And he kept saying, I don't want her to go to prison. I don't want her to get in trouble. I don't want her to go to jail. And so we asked him, why did you run away? And he said he just got tired of her not respecting his boundaries. And she said that he wanted his own life. And his exact word was, I was tired of living like a slave. She would take him to work with her, and he would do the required work she was supposed to do. And a lot of the responsibilities of her job was on him. And he went on to say that what troubled him the most was her crossing his personal space boundaries. He said that she would make him sleep in the bed with her. And he said that she made him play daddy. He said that he didn't like getting in the bed with her, that he would try to sneak out of the bed and sometime hide under the bed, but she told him he had to be her husband. That's a damn shame, man. A little boy said she was the one providing drugs to him. She believed that after so many years, people had forgotten about the case, and that under an assumed name, and convinced him to use that name, nobody would put two and two together.
But he never told any of the people that he was with what was happening?
Never told anybody what was going on. And let me say this. That young man's body have scars all over it. Slice wounds from here, from which was forearm to his wrist. All type of scars on this kid. And he said that she often locked him in the room, that she would give him drugs and lock him in the room. And there's a whole lot of mental health issues there, I believe, induced because of the drugs that this young man was getting.
At any point during this process today, did you see the mother detained by HPD?
They took her to another room and kept her there for a minute after he had confided with us what was said. I know they were on the phone with the DA's office and their superiors about this case, but I want everybody to know something. This young boy was not kidnapped by some strangers and he got away and they found him. That's not the case here.
You know, this happened on Thursday, and we're nearly a week later, and investigators waited almost a week to speak to him. Hearing the story that you heard, is it a concern that they waited this long to hear from him, given the story that you were told? It seems like he's had 8 years of dealing with this and now another week.
I was shocked that they have not done more. I was shocked that they had not executed a search warrant on the home. I was shocked by that. And I said, don't you all think you need to get busy and execute a search warrant on that home? And the young man made it crystal clear to us that that's where he was, in the house. But he was living under this fake assumed name.
You think police failed in this situation?
Oh, big time. No doubt about it. Absolutely they did. Because there were several instances where calls were made about him to law enforcement, and they did not properly follow up and follow through based on the history of that address, because she hadn't changed addresses.
And some residents were saying this morning that she brought bags and she was trying to leave. Do we know something about that?
She was trying to do what?
She was trying to leave the house. She was trying to leave the house?
She did leave the house.
So she was trying to escape?
She did leave the house, and she was trying to get away from the house, yes.
Why was she at this hotel?
She said she felt that she was not safe going home because she had been receiving threats.
What now? Is the police investigation over? Where are they?
I can't say at what state their investigation is, but what I can say, it ain't no way in hell that woman shouldn't be locked up immediately, and that boy needs to go to the best drug rehab and best psychological mental health facility that we can find for him. He's a good kid. He's a good kid. That kid was just severely abused.
And what was the mother's reaction when you brought these stories to her?
I couldn't go back in the presence at that point. The police felt it was just best that she and I not speak again. Because I was bitter.
Is she aware of these that the son told you?
Yes, she's aware. And then she goes back in there and tries to tell him, and she don't even know that was recorded. Tell him that you made it all up. That it was just a lie.
You said she would ask him to play daddy. Can you just she was sexually abused?
She would ask him to play daddy. She would come and pull the shower curtain back and stare at him, and then she would make him bathe her with the soap. And he ran away this time because he was tired.
Well, now, you've been doing this for many years. How emotional has today been with this case?
It's a goddamn shame. I ain't never in my life heard of a mother doing to a child what this woman did.
Were you at all there when the mother was questioned?
Yes.
And what was her reaction when
Yes.
you talked to her?
And I knew something was wrong with the story. When she was questioned, when they found him, he had her credit card in his pocket. She just canceled that credit card 2.5 years ago. So if he's been missing for 8 years, how the hell he get your credit card in his pocket when they found him from 2.5 years ago? And he said to us that she gave him that credit card so he could go and buy her certain things.
But with the other allegations, what was her response to those allegations?
She hadn't even heard them because we had to remove her from the room.
But so she hasn't been questioned about that?
Can you describe her demeanor and his demeanor during questioning?
When she was in the room, he wouldn't say nothing. He wouldn't say one word when she was in the room. But the minute she left the room and we were allowed to talk to the young man, and he asked. He said, "Can I speak with Mr. X by myself? Can I talk to Quanell by myself?" And the detective was like, "Well, can one of us stay in the room?" And he was like, "Okay, but I'll talk to him." When she left, when he first came here, he was holding on to her. He wouldn't talk to them. He wouldn't say one word to anybody. Like he was petrified. But the minute he got alone by himself, he slowly calmed down. And he slowly began to talk very coherently and specific details.
This is a man in his mid 20s, people might wonder, why not run away from this situation? Why not get yourself out of it? Did he give you any explanation about that?
I honestly believe, based on what he said to us, she was drugging the hell out this kid. And she convinced him that he was in trouble for initially running away and that law enforcement wanted to arrest him and put him in jail for running away. She had convinced him that all type of agencies were looking for him to put him in jail.
He was in plain sight, according to you, in that he would take her to work.
No, he would go to work with her.
Right. He would
stay at the job
she
with
would
her.
take him to work. Where did she work, and where was he doing this
It was
work?
it was some kind of security job or something like that. Where they were at, I don't know, but it was a security type job, a nighttime security watch type job.
How did he end up in the church?
We still can't. He admit that he had took mushrooms, okay. And 2 weeks before this, or a week, not even official, whole 2 weeks, her car was stolen. Okay, when her car was stolen, she didn't know how the car was stolen, but the keys were in the car, and he stole the car. That's when he got into the accident in the car, and it was him that got into the accident in that car.
What was the story? I mean, this is 8 years he was reported missing. What's the story that he's been? I spoke to neighbors who said he went by Dolt, but he never kind of told anyone what happened. What was his story?
Because she had convinced him that he was in so much trouble for initially running away, and she gave this boy serious drugs to the point to where this boy needs extensive professional help.
How did he stay missing for so long? I mean, 8 years.
He was allowed to visit with some of the neighbors under an assumed name. And then she goes back in there and tries to tell him, and she don't even know that was recorded. Tell him that you made it all up. That it was just a lie.
You said she would ask him to play daddy. Can you just she was sexually abused?
She would ask him to play daddy. She told him that he had to be the husband. She would force him to sleep in the bed with her. And he was forced to sleep at times in the beds with no clothes on.
Was anything ever physically done?
Yes, but I don't want to talk about the kissing and all of that stuff. And
But he was telling you that there was some sort of sexual action that was happening between
let
him
me
and
ask you a question. If your mother tongue kissing you in the bed with her naked, what the hell is that? I mean, damn, do we have to go that far? That's what happened. This is sick.
Juanel, do you
This
think,
ain't normal. This is sick.
Juanel, if these allegations are true, and I understand the position you're in, if they are true, how long before you think there's an arrest?
Based on what that young man said to me in front of the detective, I don't see why she's not in handcuffs right now. I don't see why she's not in handcuffs right now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.